Hello, this is the Kled item tier list for Season 16. I posted a Kled tier list for Season 15, and then Kled got a mini rework like 3 months after I posted that video, making the video kind of like irrelevant. But now we're back, and this is after I got Diamond playing not only Kled. I played a lot of Olaf, but I was basically a Kled and Olaf 2-trick, and so I'm pretty sure I know a lot about the Kled items after testing them a lot and looking at other popular Kled players' builds. So I don't know if I'll do every item because the majority of these items are pretty shit. But I think I'll do some of them. Like this item is probably pretty bad. I don't know where to start. I feel like we should start with the most obvious items first off before we go into anything crazy. I think I'll do what I did last time, which is start with these 3 Tiamat items. I think these are really good. I think I did the same exact start last time. If I can find Titanic Hydra. I also want to find Voltaic. I'm pretty sure last tier list I said Voltaic was the best Kled item in the game. Yeah, I really cannot find any item right now. Okay, here we go. And I think we'll start off with Voltaic as well as Eclipse. Because I'm pretty sure this is exactly... Did I start off with Hubris last time? It's been like a year and a half since I posted my last tier list for Kled items. And I think a lot has changed. I feel like I was a little harsh on lethality items when the rework first happened. I cannot find Hubris. Anyways, we'll start with these ones. First off, let's go with Titanic. It's obviously Kled's best item in my opinion. Like, you don't have to build Titanic. You really don't need to build it. There's plenty of players who don't, and there's plenty of games where it's not necessary. But the auto attack reset on this is so huge, and now with Kled's new scaling on his W, it's even better. Like, even before the Kled rework, Titanic was still a great item. It was still like either A or S tier, even when lethality Kled was clearly superior. Now with the new Kled rework, it's his best item by far in my opinion, even though you don't have to build it again. But just being able to do like auto Q, auto, and then Titanic reset, and then just get one auto attack off of remounting, or maybe even remount off of that. If you throw in another Q after that, it's just like really good. The item gives you every stat you need. You can buy this item first, you can buy this item second. The win rate for this thing third is still good, but I wouldn't really recommend playing Kled without a Tiamat item. You buy third item, you should have a Tiamat item. But I just think the item is such a good first item, such a good second item. It gives Kled the auto attack reset that is super useful in remounting. If you're going damage builds, it's amazing. If you're going more bruiser, like HP builds, it's obviously the best item you can buy. Even if you only have one HP item, it's still really good. So I would put this in S tier easily. Profane Hydra is a little harder for me to rate. I feel like this item is like really situational. There's a ton of players who build this every game. In my opinion, it's more situational of an item. I definitely I don't think it's as good as Titanic. I think a lot of people would agree. I feel like Profane's place is more as like an item you have to buy. Like, I don't think anyone's buying this item because it feels great or it gives amazing stats. You build it because it's a Tiamat item that gives lethality. And so this is your wave code item that gives lethality. And so if you're going lethality, you just fit this in your build really easily, and it helps out a lot. And because of that, I think I'll go A tier for this item. Like, it's a really good item for just putting in your build, and you get lethality, you get your Tiamat item, and you have your wave clear. But like compared to like Voltaic, I pull Voltaic S tier. Like it's a clearly a better lethality item, gives more lethality, gives more damage. You can essentially build this at any point in the game. I still think old Voltaic, like before the rework, I think old Voltaic was a better item on Kled. But they essentially made Voltaic and took it from an item that maybe 10 champions buy and turn it into an item that like 30 to 40 champions can buy now. It's it's a pretty good item. I don't know if, yeah, I still think it's a really good item. I think it has more competition with other lethality items. Like I don't think it's clearly the best lethality item on Kled. I think there's definitely like ways you can justify like hubris over this item. But like it's a good item to buy second, it's a good item to buy third. You can buy it fourth if you want. Like I think it's just a pretty clean item. Like I've seen Feedaboy and I've been running this build where you go Titanic into Voltaic and you get a ton of lethality and you get your Voltaic or you get your Titanic Hydra. It just feels like a way better item than Profane. It works on towers, so it's good for taking towers. It works on minions, so it gives kind of a little bit of wave clear. I don't know, but it's just it gives poke. Like I like that. Like if you have Voltaic and you're dismounted and you just throw out a Q, Voltaic can activate on your Q and do some like actual poke damage. Or if you're doing a mounted Q, you can just throw that out and you don't even get the Q2, you just get the Q1. It does damage. Which Kled just severely lacks poke. Like Kled just doesn't have poke at all. Like his poke abilities just do 0 damage, so I think it gives something that like he can actually use pretty well. And so I put it S tier. I think it's a really good item. And then Ravenous Hydra, I put it B tier. I think it's a good B tier item. It's very situational. I think last tier list I put it maybe A tier. I don't remember, but it's definitely worse than it was before because of the health scalings. But I think it's still a B tier item. I basically never build Ravenous on Kled, but I still think it has its uses. Like if you're up against like a really tanky champion, I think it can still be decent. Like it feels like it falls off hard compared to these two Titanic items, or these two Tiamat items, but I still think it's a pretty decent item if you really need sustain in these hard tank matchups. Oh, I forgot about this one. That's another Titanic or Tiamat item I forgot about. Yeah, Stridebreaker. I probably put Stridebreaker in the same place. Like you never want to build this item every game, but in specific matchups, I think that's what these two items are. Just in certain matchups, like you build Ravenous, for example, into possibly like a Cassante or like a Poppy or like a Singed, something where you just kind of want to sustain and it's hard to get a solo kill. Or like I used to build Ravenous into Malphite. Nowadays I feel like you just build HP into Malphite and you can beat them. But these really hard matchups like Cassante and Poppy, I feel like you just go Ravenous and kind of sustain and just kind of sit in top lane and kind of just like split push the whole game, and you don't really have to worry about getting poked out. Stridebreaker is different. You build this into the difficult ranged matchups. Like you could possibly build it into Vayne. I don't know if I've tried that one. I think Vayne is probably better Profane Hydra, but against ranged matchups like possibly like Phase Rush Jace or like Stormare Surge Jace or like Kennen, like matchups that like are very, very difficult to get on top of, I think Stridebreaker can be pretty good. Like it kind of feels shit to build, but once you complete it, it feels decent into these really difficult ranged matchups, especially if they go Phase Rush. Like you've seen the Jace go Phase Rush where they sacrifice a little more damage to be able to be harder to get on top of, and I think that's where Stridebreaker shines. I've seen some Korean players build Stridebreaker a decent amount. but I still think they build it probably a little bit too much. Eclipse, I'm pretty sure the last tier list, I'll put it B tier. This one's hard to rate because every time I see this item on the Kled recommended page, I'm like, damn, this item's dog shit. Like every time I see this item, I'm like, yeah, why would any Kled player ever want to build this? And since then, I've used Eclipse a few times, and honestly, for a first item, it feels S tier. Like legitimately, every time I build this item, I'm like, wow, this thing has value. But then you go 20 minutes into the game, and then like 25 minutes into the game, and then 30 minutes into the game, and then 35 minutes into the game, and that's when you sell the item. It just falls off so hard. Like you can feel it by the second item, and you could really feel it by the third item. This item falls off so hard because the stats it gives is absolutely nothing. Like it gives 60 ADE and like what, 15 ability haste. The stats this thing give are atrocious compared to other items. It gives no HP and it gives no lethality. And so by second item, your stats are so shit. And the shield doesn't really scale at all. I actually don't know the scaling, but the shield doesn't feel like it scales at all. And once people start building a ton of armor, the max physical health damage gets lowered and lowered and lowered, and it's doing nothing. And so once you get 2 items, you wish you'd had any other item but this one. Like any other item you wish you had but this. Because it just feels so bad once you have more items. But as a first item, it feels amazing. And so I don't think I can put it that low, but I think I'll still put it C tier. I think with HP items being better on Kled, there's better options. And I think this item is only ever good in matchups such as Mundo if you're going even. Like if you couldn't find an opportunity to kill Mundo, or you could never tower dive him, you had to play safe, you're even in CS, I think that could be good against Mundo in that situation. Like I think this item's decent if you're up against health stackers such as Mundo, Sion, Tom Kench. I don't know if there's any others, but like health stackers like those, I think Eclipse can be good because it's really good against health stackers who don't stack armor like quickly. So such as Mundo, Mundo usually builds just like health items. Sion depending on Sion build, if he goes Heartsteel, it's really good. If he goes armor, it's a little bit more difficult. And then Tom Kench likes to stack health items like Heartsteel and all that shit, and so it's good against him. And the reason for that is because it does 6% max health physical damage, and so it gets reduced by armor, but 6% max health damage against just health stackers is going to be a lot of damage. And the shield against these low damage health stackers like Mundo, Tom Kench, Sion, they all do low damage, and so the passive is very useful for just blocking that damage. And essentially, like, once you complete this against a Mundo or Tom Kench, they're going to be doing 0 damage to you. They're actually not going to be able to break through the shield, and you're going to feel unkillable. Like, it just feels so good as a first item. And you can legitimately take over games. Like, if you buy this first item, as soon as you complete it, and you just start playing really aggro, you start, like, maybe proxying, like, tower diving, like, invading their jungle, you're going to feel unkillable. Like, I've had situations where I build this, and then I go 3v1, 2v1, and I win all those situations just because it feels so good in those scenarios. But then then you're onto your third item, even though you're fed, and you feel completely useless because it gives no stats. So that's why I put C tier. Hubris, I'd put probably a. This one's hard because the build path for this item and its gold cost is so much better than Voltaic. So if you're looking for a first, item, like a first lethality item, you always want to build Hubris. Like, I never buy Voltaic first because the build path is so bad. Like, you can have a great lead, like you get a kill level 1, you get your pickaxe, you maybe can get a brutalizer if you're CSing really well at first recall. But once you finish that brutalizer, if you don't keep on like getting a gold lead and keep on like having really good recalls, it can be so difficult to actually like complete this Voltaic. And if you're going Voltaic first, that can be a big issue. Hubris, on the other hand, has a really good build path and it's only 2,800 gold. So you get a first recall and you only back with 700 gold, that's completely fine. You can just buy 2 longswords. That can, for a first recall, that can also be completely fine for Voltaic. Just buy 2 longswords as well with your Voltaic. But then say you go back to lane, you have a bad recall, you got ganked, maybe you got solo killed, who knows, and you back with 700 gold as well. That's awful with Voltaic. With Voltaic, you essentially have to say like, okay, let's buy tier 1 boots and a glowing moat. That's an awful recall. That's awful. Because you can't buy the pickaxe. And you already bought the 2 longswords in this build. So you're essentially fucked if you're building Voltaic. With Hubris, that's completely fine. Just finish your serrated dirk and buy a longsword. That's completely fine. So the build paths are just like essentially like the completion gold on this. What do you have to have for the completion gold for Voltaic? It's like 933, something like that. Like it's a really weird and bad like gold completion cost. Hubris is way less than that. It's only 2,800 gold item. The completion cost once you buy the components is like 750 or something. And the scaling factor as well, Hubris scales better than Voltaic in my opinion. Voltaic still does well in the mid game, but I think late game it definitely falls off compared to Hubris. And because of that, I still put Voltaic and Hubris in S tier because Voltaic, what Voltaic's good at is you can buy Voltaic 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and it'll still be a good item. If you buy Hubris 2nd, 3rd, 4th, it might not have a lot of value. Like you can still buy a 2nd. I don't know if I've ever really built it 2nd recently. I usually only build it as a first item, but it could probably still be alright as a 2nd item. But as a first item, it can be really decent in these matchups where you're doing well, such as like if you're really destroying a Teemo or something, I think it'd be good. And then Hullbreaker. I used to build this like every game. I used to go Titanic Hullbreaker every game. Now, I haven't really been building it. Like I feel like 2nd item you need damage and Hullbreaker doesn't give enough. The thing about Hullbreaker is that it's not a burst item. Like Hullbreaker is an item where like if you're fighting against a very tanky top laner, it can be good because you can get multiple Hullbreaker procs off. Because Hullbreaker's every 5 autos, Hullbreaker gets procced. And I probably put a B tier just because Kled is honestly more of a burst champion. Like Kled doesn't do that great into tanks and bruisers. Like Kled during laning phase can definitely shit on tanks and bruisers, but once you get to like laning, like late game or like mid game, you kind of just want to like ult on the Aphelios, ult on the Viego, ult on the Seraphine. You don't want to just like go into a team fight and start punching the Tom Kench. You don't want to do that. And so Kled really needs burst, and this item does not give burst. If you're going to split push all game, like yes it can be good, but like when it comes to split pushing, I feel like Kled already one-shots turrets. Like this can be good if you want to like actually like legitimately like one-shot a turret, but like Kled already kills turrets so fast that Hullbreaker changes it from like you can clear a turret with demolish and no Hullbreaker and what maybe like 12 seconds, and then this will change it down to like 6 seconds. I just feel like the passive for turret taking isn't necessary, and the cannon minions can be pretty useful. But again, like I feel like Kled as a split pusher, like doesn't actually just want to stay in the side lane. Like a Yorick or an Alawi can just sit in the side lane and they're happy about it. Like Kled, like as soon as the Alawi or the Darius or the set comes to match you, you kind of just gotta leave and look for an ult opportunity. And because of that, I put it like B tier. I just don't think it's the best item on Kled. This item just feels kind of weird. For me, it used to be like an A tier item. Like when back in the day when you're stacking lethality, it used to feel like an A, maybe even S tier item in some games. But nowadays, the item, like Kled doesn't really want to stack lethality, because like if you think about like a Kled build, like what does a Kled want to buy? Like Titanic Hydra first item feels good, maybe a Voltaic second, and then by third item you're like, I need some armor pen, so you go LDR third or Mortal Mind third, and then fourth, maybe like a defensive item, maybe more lethality, who knows? And so where do you fit Axiom Arc? This thing scales with lethality. In that build I mentioned, there was only one lethality item. And so you're going to build this with 2 lethality items? Like this and another lethality item is all the lethality you're going to have? Sounds pretty shit in my opinion. Like I just feel like, and like unless you're like really fed, I don't feel like you're ulting that much on Kled. Like I don't feel like you're just instantly ulting that much on Kled. And like ulting 2 times in a team fight, like if you have a ton of lethality and you're able to ult 2 times in a team fight with item, I don't even feel like it's that impactful. Like a lot of the times you're gonna be dismounted at the end of the fight and you can't ult anyways. And because of that, I put it probably C tier. Like I just feel like it's not that good. Like you don't buy that, like you don't stack lethality that much on Kled anymore. And it feels just like it doesn't have the best stats. The build path is whatever. Like I'd put a C tier probably. Abyssal Mask, I kind of just like the first item I picked, I kind of threw it in here. It's pretty shit. I don't know if I really want to talk about this one. It's pretty shit. Black Cleaver, that's a good one to talk about. Black Cleaver is probably either A or B tier. A ton of Kled players build this. You'll see a lot of Kled players who love building this second. You'll see some Kled players who like building a first item against some matchups. And then other Kled players hate this item. For me, I don't know, like it just, the item feels bad. Like it gives only like what, 40 AD? Like, I don't know, like, because Kled loves just burst. Kled loves burst damage. Kled doesn't want to be some kind of like team utility player who comes in with armor pen. And even in matchups, like I've always looked at the win rate against matchups, and I've seen like you'll think in like a matchup like, oh, this item's probably amazing in this matchup, and then you'll check Lawlytics and you'll see LDR or what, Black Cleaver, I mean first item, and it'll be like 45% win rate. I just don't understand why this item has such bad win rate like all the time. Like it just, like it doesn't feel good, but like you'd think it'd be better on Kled, but it's not for some reason. Like I think if we compare it to LDR and Mortal Miner, it doesn't look that bad, but like in actuality, like it just doesn't really compete. I just feel like the item is kind of shit in my opinion. I feel like this item needs to be reworked because it just feels complete shit. I'm not gonna lie. But I still think it deserves to be A tier because it does give armor pen and it does give HP. The reason I built this item is if I feel like I need HP and I need armor pen. That's why I built it. And it fits that niche decently because it's all you got really. Like I don't think it's that good, but I think you have to put it A tier just because it gives armor pen. The reason these items are way better, why they're S tier, is because they instantly give you armor pen. So if you're trying to fight if you're trying to kill an ADC, you have to attack multiple times to like fully stack Black Cleaver. And these items you instantly get the armor penetration. And your ultimate does do AP damage. So your ultimate doesn't get affected as much. That's why they made his ult do AP damage so that your ult gets benefited, or your ult doesn't get like your ult's not like shit because you're going Black Cleaver. That's what they intended the ult to do. Like made it AP damage so that your initial ult has like doesn't get anti-synergy with Black Cleaver. But Black Cleaver just feels bad. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like I feel like ability haste isn't the most important stat on Kled. I feel like Kled likes AD a lot better. He likes armor pen. He likes lethality. He doesn't really care much about ability haste. But I still feel like the stats technically give everything he wants. Like Kled wants AD, he wants armor pen, and because of that, like I think I have to put A tier. But these two items, the crit feels really, really good. The armor pen feels really, really good. You kind of gotta put him S tier. Like I don't know, like you basically build one of these three items every single game, and most people are gonna prefer these two items. Like they're just really good items. Kled has almost no true damage, and he gets completely countered by armor, so you kind of need these items every game. And they do feel really good to build, so you kind of gotta put them S tier. I'll leave boots for last. I don't think I want to put them on here. Let's do these items first. Blade of the Rune King. Probably C tier, right? Like, I feel like this is probably on the same tier as Eclipse. The item can feel good first item against health stackers, but it doesn't scale well on Kled. Doesn't really give Kled any of the stats he wants. It gives bad AD, gives attack speed Kled doesn't want, and it gets lifesteal, which Kled honestly doesn't get impacted by lifesteals compared to a lot of other bruisers. So I just put like C tier. I don't think it's that good. Kempug Chainsword, I'd put probably B tier. I think it's honestly underrated. It's not that bad. Like honestly, if you're up against a Malphite and you can fit it into your build, like you have nothing else you want to build, LDR into Chempunk is probably not that bad. Like Chempunk actually gives pretty decent stats for Kled. It gives HP, gives AD, and it gets ability haste. Like that's not that bad. Like the HP feels decent with the Kled HP changes. I mean, it's honestly like it gives good stats. It just kind of like doesn't do anything else. It just gives you stats and your anti-heal, and that's it. And like if you really value the Giant Slayer passive on LDR, I feel you could build these two instead of Mortal Reminder. It may be trolling, who knows, but it could also be decent. But just because the stats are so good, I just put a B tier. Like I feel like it's kind of a hole breaker, a cheap item with really good stats. Like I feel like these two are pretty similar. It's just it gives ability haste and anti-heal instead of the extra damage on auto attack. This item, honestly, Dead Man's Plate. Can you put it D tier? I don't know. It might be a D tier item. I don't see any world in which you would want to build this item. Like, why would you want to build this item? Like, I don't think Kled, I feel like, is probably the worst champion at like, why would you want this? Because, like, if you're engaging on someone, like, Kled's not really good at just, like, walking at someone or, like, running at someone and just, like, auto-attacking them. Like, I feel like that's, like, more of a Darius Olaf thing. I feel like Kled is always going to want to ult in or just, like, look for a flank. Like, I don't think this item's good at all. Like, your ult kind of does the same thing. And the stats, I feel like, are pretty shit on Kled, so I don't think you'd ever want to build this item. A better armor item is Death Stance. I'm pretty sure my last tier list, I don't remember what I put this on, but I probably put it like, I probably put it C tier. Like, I probably put it pretty bad. I may even put, nah, I probably didn't put it D tier, but my last tier list, I was hating on this item hard. I remember when Boss built it, when he was on Los Ratones, in probably his second to last pro play game, or series, his second last pro play series, I think it was. Before they lost. And I was hating on Boss because I was like, this item has anti-synergy with Kled. And I honestly thought this item was shit on Kled. The reason I say that is because Kled's passive essentially is kind of like Death Stance. Kled's passive, if you get bursted for 9,000 damage, you're only going to take, in reality, like 6,000 damage. Your, like, mini Kled is not going to take the damage that Skarl did. All that damage that Skarl took is going to be mitigated, and mini Kled isn't going to take it. But if you buy Death Stance, the damage that Skarl took is going to be passed on to mini Kled. So mini Kled's going to take the damage from Death Stance that Skarl would have absorbed. If that makes sense. And because of that, I thought the item was complete shit. Nowadays, I feel like there's so many champions that are just going to one-shot you anyways. Like, there's so many champions that you kind of need Death Stance, because if you're dismounted, you're dead anyways. Like, for example, Set, as soon as you're dismounted against a Set, you're dead. Like, he's going to ult W you, and you're done for. Like, he's going to ult W you, you're going to dismount, he's going to ult W, and you're immediately one-shot. Like, you're not living. Death Stance, you can hold on to your Skarl for longer with Death Stance, and it's going to be easier to fight him without getting completely one-shot when you're dismounted. And I feel like the armor feels better since Kled nowadays builds, like Titanic, he's building armor, or he's building HP, so the armor is more useful when you have HP. And because of that, honestly, I put the item in A tier. Like, I feel Death Stance is such a good item these days compared to most bruiser items. Like, what other bruiser armor item is there? Some may say Death Stance is a bruiser armor item, but I don't know. There's no other armor items for bruisers, really. And the stats are alright. The cold cost is a little expensive, I'll give it that, but I feel like a lot of games you just need armor, and I feel like this item is pretty decent. Especially in teamfights. Without the courage on kill, without the courage on takedown, Kled in teamfights is already like complete shit. I feel like this item makes him a little bit better for being able to survive on Skarl for a little longer, maybe make an impact before you die. So I think it's a decent item on Kled. This item, why would you ever build it? I put like D tier. Like, it gives all the stats Kled doesn't want. Like, it gives like what, 70% attack speed I think in total when you ult. Yeah, Kled doesn't want that. this item, some people love this item. I did put it like C tier. Like, it's expensive, the stats are bad, and honestly, like, what are you gonna do when you revive? Like, you're gonna revive as Kled, and you're just gonna immediately die again. Like, even if you're fed, like, just build a different item. Like, if you're fed, just build Death Dance. Like, the stats are just kind of shit, and like, this item is good if you're getting focused in team fights, but and you don't like, this item is like an item where you don't want to be focused. So an ADC will build this so that the enemies will avoid them and focus somebody else, because if they focus you, you're just gonna revive and clean up the fight once you revive. On Kled, you can't really do that. Like, Kled's awful in team fights. Late game, he's awful. Like, I would just not build this item ever. Oh yeah, this item. Honestly, decent item. It's an actually, like, you never build this item. Well, I guess you could build it third, but as a fourth or fifth item, it's not bad. Because Kled, dismounted Kled already gets, like, in a team fight, dismounted Kled already gives a lot of, like, MR through his passive. And this item, you can fully stack it pretty easily on mounted Kled. If you're building some HP, you can fully stack this item on mounted Kled, and then when you're dismounted, you can have like 200 MR. Like 200 MR, maybe even more, for free. And then you can remount easier since you're so tanky. You can remount and you have 200 MR. Well, actually, you wouldn't have 200 anymore. You'd have like 150 MR or something when you remount, and you're looking really good for just like a remount or something. Like, I'd say it's pretty decent item. If we compare it, I haven't really been building it as much compared to Kiernik Rukern. This is an item that Feedaboy is building a lot. I don't know which one's better. Like, I'll be honest, I don't know which one's better. I've just been following Feedaboy's build, where he goes Kiernik Rukern. But I'd put them both in B tier. Like, I honestly think you could have a discussion for either of them. I feel like overall, Kiernik Rukern is better for burst, and Force of Nature is better for damage over time. So just like a Brand, Lilia, something like that, you'd build Force of Nature over. Both of them are good though. Like, I think these are the MR items Kled should build. Like, compared to them to Maw of Maltorius and Spirit Visage, that's the one I was looking for. Spirit Visage, pretty shit on Kled. Kled doesn't have any healing, and his only shielding's through his ultimate, but that goes away after 3 seconds? I don't know when his shield goes away, honestly. But Spirit Visage, not a good item on Kled unless you have like a Soraka. Like a Soraka, this item's really good. Like a Sena maybe, but I don't know about that. Like a Seraphine, Sona, or Soraka, you can build this item. If you don't have those, just go these two. And then Maw of Maltorius. I don't want to put it B tier, but I think I have to. I'd honestly maybe move these two up. Like, I feel like as a 4th, 5th item, these are really good. As a 2nd, 3rd item, they're not good. But as a 4th, 5th, they're pretty good items. Yeah, I think I'd put them A tier. Maw of Maltorius, I put B tier. I just don't think the item's good on Kled. Like, I think the item has bad stats. The Omni Vamp, I think Kled gets... Like, I don't think Kled benefits from the Omni Vamp as much as other bruisers and other characters. Like, I just don't think Omni Vamp's that good of a stat on Kled. And the shield isn't... Just the shield doesn't feel that good on Kled. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I just feel the item's kind of shit. The only reason I put it B tier is because like first, second item against like a Gwen or like a Rumble, like I think it helps you a ton in those matchups. Like I honestly feel like strangely this item is like a laning phase item. Like if you're up against like a Kale, like this can help. Like a Rumble, it helps a lot. You might even build it first against Rumble. I just think it scales way worse than the other items, and it just kind of feels shit. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like late game, you'd 100% rather have these two items. Like you don't really want this one as much. This item you can buy. This item I think some people buy for some reason. We talk about that one. Okay, a lot of these are trolling. Like a lot of these are trolling items. Like I'm not gonna lie. We've kind of gotten past most of the good items. Like a lot of these items are so bad I'm not even gonna rate them. I think I'm only gonna rate the items that like you could have an argument for. That item's not even in the game anymore. Okay, I'll start off with these ones. Actually, get Collector in here before we talk about Infinity Edge. I feel like for Infinity Edge we have to talk about Collector. Where's Collector? Here it is. Okay. This item. I remember a Korean player who was going. What was it? It was. I think it might have been No, it was Sundered Sky. He would go Sundered Sky into. What is this item called again? He'd go Sundered Sky into Edge of Night like every game. And since then, I don't know if he isn't Challenger or he isn't Grandmaster anymore, or like what happened to him. But I don't think I've seen anyone really go this item anymore. Like, I went up against the Vayne. I kind of got shit on. This item felt awful. I checked Logalytics because I thought this item would be amazing into Vayne, because Vayne has only one way of proccing Edge of Night, or getting rid of it, which is her E. So I thought this item would be amazing against Vayne, and it felt awful. And I checked Logalytics, and the win rate was pretty bad too. Like nobody built it against Vayne. So I just don't. I guess it's just not a good item anymore, or like it probably never was, honestly. I mean, like the thing is, like Kled's ultimate kind of already is your Edge of Night. Like you're gonna ult into a team fight, and your Edge of Night's gonna get procced, and it doesn't do anything. Because like when you ult, you're already immune to like all these abilities. You're already immune to all the CC and everything when you're ulting. And your Edge of Knight's probably gonna proc while you're ulting or something. I just don't think it's a good item. I'd put it in probably C or D tier. I just feel like it's worse than all these items. Like the stats aren't really all that good. Like yes, it gives HP. That's why I thought it would be better on Kled, because it gives HP. So I thought it'd be better on Kled with his HP scalings. But like nobody builds it. The win rate looks bad. And when would you build it? Like I don't know. So I'm just gonna put it D tier. I just don't see why you'd ever build this item. Like I thought it would be better. I don't see any reason to ever build it. Frozen Heart. Maybe even F tier. Nah, I probably can't go F tier. Why would you build Frozen Heart? I'd probably put F tier. Why would you build Frozen Heart? Like if you're up against auto attackers, I feel like you just build an armor item. Like why would you want an armor item that gives mana? Like I feel like it's trolling. I feel like the passive can't be that good. The only reason you would build in Frozen Heart on a non-mana champion is if it's really good in a team fight. Like it really helps out your team. But Kled doesn't really want a team fight. He doesn't want to help out his team. Like, I think it's just F tier. Heartsteel, probably C tier. Like, it's not awful. Like, I'll be honest, it's not awful, but it's not good either. Kled needs AD, and if you build this first, you have no AD. If you build it second, you still have no AD, but you have Heartsteel. It's just kind of shit, but it's at the same time, it doesn't feel that bad if you can actually get it going. Like, if you can actually get the build going, you're going Grasp, and you're going Overlord's Bloodmail and Titanic, like, and it will feel decent, but it's still kind of bad. This item, why would you ever want it? I don't know. This item, why would you ever, like, Kled doesn't use Shein items, bro. You don't want this item ever. Collector, I'd put C tier. Crit on Kled just isn't good anymore. You used to go Infinity Edge on Kled back in the day when the Lethality Kled was a thing. You'd go the crit Lethality build with Collector, i.e. Nowadays, it's bad. Nowadays, why would you ever want crit on Kled? I don't know. Well, okay, let me take that back. Crit on Kled isn't bad, I'll be honest. That's why you build LDR, because crit is actually good on Kled. But why do you want to go full crit? I don't know. Like, I feel like you'd just want to go Titanic and a few lethality items. I don't see why you'd want to go crit. Like, full crit. Like, I feel like it could work, that's why it's C tier, but just there's way better options. Like, I don't think crit's the way to go on Kled anymore. Like, Kled doesn't scale. Like, with the changes, I'll be honest here, the health changes, the Kled mini rework made Kled scale worse. Because lethality Kled used to scale decently. Like, Kled scaling with lethality, full lethality, used to actually one-shot people. Like, the AD scalings were really, really good. Like, old Kled lethality, like, used to be really good because his AD scalings were so high that, like, your scaling would actually be pretty decent because you'd stack AD, you'd stack lethality, the armor pen, and late game you would actually just completely one-shot people. Nowadays, you have to work a lot harder to completely one-shot people. You actually have to have a ton of Hoover stacks. And because of that, crit is worse. Because you don't really one-shot people, you actually have to, like, work pretty hard to, like, kill people on Kled. And because of that, his scaling's worse. These items are too late game. Kled doesn't scale at all anymore. So you don't want to play for late game at all. You want to play for early game, and because of that, this crit's just bad. This honestly probably is a better crit item than the other ones, but it's still bad. Jak'Sho. Jak'Sho is probably controversial here. It does synergize with his passive. Like, I'll be honest, it does synergize with his passive. Kled's passive gives him MR and armor when he's dismounted, and it increases with all the enemies near him. And because of that, a lot of people think Jak'Sho's good. But it's just like, Kled's so squishy. Kled gets shit on by legitimately anything. Like late game and mid game, Kled gets absolutely shit on by anything. Jak'Sho's not going to make any difference. I'd rather have an item that's really good while you're mounted, such as Force of Nature or Kinetic Rukern. Like, it actually has an impact while you're mounted. I'll still put it B tier, I think, 'cause it's not awful. But I'd rather just have, like, a dedicated, like, MR or armor item that lets me win a 1v1 against my lane opponent. And, like, so I can actually make an impact in the side lane during late game, rather than having more of a team fight item that has an impact in a team fight. Because at 30 minutes, like, honestly, if you can't beat your opponent in the 1v1 side lane, you're kind of useless. And a lot of times, no matter what your build, you're still going to be useless, but I'd probably just rather have one of these 3 items than this item, because I don't think it's going to make a difference, especially with how expensive Jak'Sho is compared to other tank items. Like, this item is all very expensive for a tank item, and a lot of time it's going to be hard to finish it before the game ends. Mercurial Scimitar. Probably a D tier item. Yeah, probably a D tier item. You'd never want to build this item early, and you'd rather just have an HP item for more survivability than this. Like, you don't use lifesteal very well in Kled. There's better lifesteal users. Like, I just rather have a different item. Like, maybe there's 1 in 1,000 games you build the item, but that's why I put it D tier, but it's still just not good. Overlord's Blood Mail. I used to think this game item was like S or A tier. I don't know. Honestly, these days I'd probably put it B tier. It's kind of sad. It's an expensive item, and it makes you stronger the lower HP you are, but Kled honestly is not good at low HP anymore. Kled wants to be mounted, and if he's low HP, I don't know. Like, some may say he's good at Kled's good at low HP. I just feel he's kind of shit at low HP. Like, when you're dismounted, you're probably dead. Like, there's other characters like Olaf, who if you're low HP, you're just like gonna 1v9, and the item's still not good on Olaf. Like, I feel like Kled would rather have damage while he's high HP. And like, yes, getting AD from your HP is really good, but the item's so expensive and you have to stack HP items. And Kled doesn't really want to stack HP items that many games. Like, if you're in a game where you're stacking HP items, it can be good, but I just feel like there's a lot better items Kled can buy. I don't know. Maybe you can make the case for A tier. I just think the item, I have a hard time justifying building this item, honestly. It's just too expensive and I don't think it's that useful. Randuin's A tier. Randuin's easy A tier. The slow is nice, but the crit passive is really, really good. This is if you're building any armor item a game. Like, if you have a game where you need to buy armor, this is your armor item. This is it. You don't need any other armor item except maybe Death Dance. There's not much to say. It's just a really good item, and for a 4th, 5th, 6th item, it's really good. And probably don't have that many items left. Oh, Sterix is important one. Thunder Sky is important to talk about. Okay. We got a few more. Serpent's Fang, probably S tier, right? Maybe A tier, maybe S tier. I'd probably say S tier. Kled doesn't provide much utility, but Serpent's Fang is one of the best ways of providing utility on Kled. The item gives decent stats for Kled. He likes lethality, he likes AD. It's cheap, which is nice. Cheap way of getting lethality is always decent on Kled. And there's so many matchups where this thing's good. Kled wants to one-shot squishies. That's what he does late game. That's probably one of the only things you can do late game. This item allows you to one-shot squishies. All the ADCs are going to be building Barrier. They may be building Bloodthirster. They might be building a Mortal Shield Bow. Maybe you're up against a Yone. Maybe you're up against a Kaisa, a Yasuo, a Seraphine, a Sona. All these characters have shielding. And all these, there's some items that give you shielding as well. And because of that, Serpent's Fang just allows you to one-shot them. Especially even against mages. All these mages are building Archangel Staff. That gives a big shield. So if you want to one-shot these characters, a lot of times you need Serpent's Fang, and Kled, all he does is want to one-shot squishies late game. And so this item helps a lot, and so that's why you want to build this item. And it's even good in a lot of matchups, like Riven, Camille, and Bessa. This item can be really good against them. This item is C tier. It's the worst armor pen item for Kled. There's no reason to ever build this item over LDR and Mortal Minder. Kled would rather have the crit. You would just always rather have the crit. You don't need this item. Like, just don't build it. This item's just a worse Overlord's Blood Mail. There's better bruiser items. Not really much to say, there's just better items. This item used to not work on Kled W, now it does. That's good, but it's still not a good item. This item, controversial, A tier. A lot of people hate this item on Kled. They say the shield pops while he's on Scarl instead of while he's dismounted, making it bad. I disagree. At 2 to 3 items, it will pop while dismounted, which is perfect. 2 to 3 items, it'll pop while dismounted. That's what you want. At 4, 5, 6 items, this item will pop while you're mounted. And a lot of people say that's awful. You don't want that at all. I disagree. I think that late in the game, I think it's more impactful to have this pop while you're on Scarl. I'd rather be on Scarl longer than have maybe a possibility of remounting. Because even if this thing pops while you're dismounted, it's not guaranteed that you're going to get a remount. The stats on it are decent. Maybe you can make the argument for B tier just because it kind of forces you into building HP items. But still, I feel like a game where you kind of need to be tankier, you're kind of just there to like help out your team. Like a lot of games, you're not going to be able to be the carry. A lot of games, you're not going to be able to one-shot the squishies. And in those games, you need a little bit of tankiness, and I feel like Steric's the perfect item to give you a little bit more tankiness, while also being able to do damage. Because of that, I put it A tier. Like I think it's actually a good item. And a lot of Kled players will disagree, but I think it's pretty good. Thunder Sky, I put it B tier. I used to hate this item, but I think it can be a decent item to slot into lethality builds. I know there's a challenger Korean player. I think maybe not Korean, but I think there was a challenger Korean player who went Profane Hydra, Sundered Sky every game, and I went the build and it actually feels good. Like I think it's a decent item. I used to hate it, but I think it's a decent item. Like for just an HP item to slot into a build, I think it's good. Sunfire, same as Hall Radiance. Why would you ever want this item? Like I went this into a Jax once and it was decent, but I don't think I'd probably do that again. This item shit. Don't build it. This item, put it D tier. You don't want to build it, but if you have to, I guess it's alright. Well, do a Trinomir might not be bad. I'll put it C tier. I think there's some matchups it might be decent. Like if you're up against the Trinomir, maybe an Olaf if you're losing lane somehow. Might not be the worst. Or a Nasus if you're Nasus, it might be decent. I think there's argument to be said for that. There may be some items missing in here. It doesn't look the most recent. I think some Kled players build this item. I'll probably put a C tier. It doesn't seem like the worst item. I think there's better options, but I think C tier is a good place for that one. This item's been removed. Yeah, I think that's every Kled item you'd ever think about buying. Oh, I guess Ghostblade. It's probably C tier. I never build this item, but it's probably C tier. But I think that's every Kled item. It doesn't have the new boots, so I don't think I'll do a boot tier list since this thing doesn't have the new boots. Yeah, I think that's every Kled item they can possibly think about buying. It's definitely missing some items, I feel like. But I can't think of which ones, other than the lifesteal boots. But overall, this is the Kled item tier list I would give. And if we're talking about like a cookie cutter build on Kled, for me it's been difficult, but I've just been following what Feedaboy, Feedaboy hasn't made a video yet of like what he builds. But I kind of just looked at his op.gg and what I've just been kind of following them, where I go Titanic first item, and then Voltaic second item a lot of games, into LDR Immortal Reminder, and then after that either Serpent's Fang if they have shielding, and if not I go Death's Dance if there are a lot of AD champions, or Kianic Rukern if there are a lot of AP champions. And then after that you can build Death's Dance or Kianic Rukern, just build the other one that you didn't buy. So that's been my build that I've been going. I just been copying Feedaboy. and I think that build's pretty decent. But if anyone's got a better build, I can definitely try it out and see how I feel about it. But that's it.